A three-quarter time, he was saying to the doctor, I'm in strife. Why was he back out in the ground? It's hard to understand.
Oh, it's a really good question. He had a long conversation with the medicos down here on the interchange bench at the start of the quarter. And
Richard Tabling, meantime, has kicked the goal.
And of course it raises the question as to the reliability of his hamstrings for the future. It's a horrible outcome, and it's in keeping with everything that's happened on this bleak evening for Richmond at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. It ends with the man around whom a season's hope was built, injured and under a cloud. Here's Betts for Carlton, stripped of it. Judd arrives. Here comes the Judd. And he places it well for Favola. Wiggins is thereabouts, so's Betts. Fev's still there. Cruiser. Tiger defence having a say in it as well. And eventually a ball up is forced.
Don't be surprised if Fev comes off before long. I think that as soon as Brett Ratton thinks he's got this game in the bag, he might just rest his full forward who's playing under difficulties.
That little glimpse of Judd there at full flight, picking up a half volley, it just reminded me him as absolute best. I mean, on the other side, Richmond's had a disaster. Carlton, everything that could go right has gone right.
Just how good are the Blues, Tim?
Play on!
Come on, you two, cut it out.
Play on!
Round one.
Keeping the lid on it. I don't think they've been seriously tested tonight, it has to be said.
Here's Hadley for Carlton. There's plenty of time to steady him from a really tight angle. Has kicked it out on the full.
Almost a forgotten player in their lineup, Richard Hadley. Only been able to play about 20 games in the last 4 years. We've seen when he's fit at Brisbane, he can be a very, very good midfielder. He's had 20 disposals tonight. They can keep him sound. It's just another one to add to Murphy, Judd, all the elite midfielders they've got going around now. Bryce Gibbs, throw him into the mix as well.
Move on, Brett. Play on! Play on! Yours!
Mark taken by Newman. Goes into the middle. And it's Moore who goes out wide to McGuan. It's on centre wing.
That is just a shocking kick.
That's a push in the back against Brown.
Like McGuan's kick without any pressure on him, and he tumbles the ball wrong side over for a drop punt, and it's going to kill the coach.
Murphy. And his kick's good, it finds Cloak.
You know who's the most stressed group of people at this stadium at the moment? The Richmond medical staff. Because at three-quarter time, they rubbed him, they touched him, they stretched him. Talking about Ben Cousins, and then they let him go back out.
Is it hard to understand when you're 60 points down, the game's completely shot? You've had a player come across who's a Brownlow medalist. Even if there was 0.5% of doubt why you put him out there?
Didn't make sense, Luke.
You're in deep.
Cloak drives it deep. Picked up by Deledio. Handballs over to Schultz at half-back. He gives it to Newman. Not a lot on offer. And the kick smothered by Murphy. What a diabolical night for Richmond, but full credit to the Blues. They lead by nigh on 10 goals. Both teams have not played finals since 2001. Cruiser off to Houlihan. Again, he finds Cloak, who's played some valuable minutes, made a good contribution for his team. Cruiser. The two boys wax.
Just a question, Luke, with Cruiser. What percentage can he ruck this year? My worry is that as still a teenager, that he can really get knocked around if they keep him in the ruck too long.
Look, I think the beauty of him is that he can be a legitimate forward at this stage of his career, and the temptation would be, I reckon the smart plan would be to give him 60% of the time as a forward, 40% in the ruck, throw Cameron Cloak in there as a big body to contest, keep playing young Sam Jacobs, let him go in there and do some bullet work, because he can kick a goal. We saw him do that last year, and he's got another pre-season. He'll be fitter and stronger, and you need to keep him sound and look after him.
And of course, the Blues recruited Robert Warnock from Fremantle, and he's on the long-term injury list.
Here's the Richmond doctor just coming back out, explaining what might have happened. Ben Cousins. Just
He looks stressed,
behind the
Rob.
left knee.
Oh, he's stressed. Don't worry about that.
Could be a goal to Russell.
It's a sad sight, isn't it? Halfway through the last quarter of this much hyped opening round game. Here's Simpson just pulling the kick off the instep, but Favola hadn't or was beaten to the ball by McGuan. Tambling on the lead. Scouting for Carlton, Russell, Johnson, Gibbs. All Carlton at the fall of this one. 2-on-1. Cloak, Russell. Confidence surging after that brilliant goal. Placing it into the 50. For Simpson, he'll have a couple against him. Kept his feet. Scotland drew the tacklers to him. Big fellow Jacobs with Simpson and Hadley, and now Houlihan, who's a very good kick, and he kicks beautifully to Betts, who surely will kick his 5th goal.
Very impressive pickup. Half volley by Cameron Cloak for a big man. Great agility.
Betts with 3 in the 3rd quarter, taking his tally for the night to 4. Richmond's president, Gary March, with a face that is lengthening by the minute. Betts for number 5 and for a 70-point lead. It is becoming cataclysmic for the Tigers, and they face the Cats next week.
Tonight, 86,972, which according to my calculations is the biggest home and away crowd in history between these two teams, eclipsing the 85,673 back in 1980. But half the crowd will be going home very disappointed as Carlton now lead by 70 points. Embarrassment tonight for the Richmond Football Club, but once again we shouldn't take anything away from the Blues. They've been superb. Everything is clicked.
Quarter's an interesting question now is as to whether Ben Cousins, as the media was assured he will hold a post-match press conference or attend the press conference under all these circumstances.
We'll wait and see. As Carlton surge again. No free kick to Judd for a chop. Schultz. Now Rains arches the back. Goes up the middle. Finds Edwards, who kicks successfully. And the mark is taken by Delidio, who will go back and have a set shot from about 30 metres out at worst.
Still think he'll be pretty disappointed with his output tonight, Brett Delidio. This will be his 20th disposal. On the surface, it looks like he's contributed okay, but when the game was really, really there to be won, he didn't have much of an influence. We know he's going to get a lot more attention now after his year last year, but he's someone they need to play consistently well.
Right there, mate.
And that's a miss.
I think Foley's tried really hard. Beyond that, there's very little to get excited about, and you know, when the tide turned against them, no one really stood up, and they were insipid with their tackling. They've been dreadful with their skills. They've missed goals that they should have kicked, and you know, dropped marks early, and now the shining light, Ben Cousins, is off injured and probably won't play for quite a while.
One of the first gamers, Aaron Joseph, delivers coolly to Cloak, who comes inside to Bauer. He goes long. Gibbs is arriving for a crumb. So's Wiggins. Tiger defence covers. A throw. It'll be a Carlton free kick.
Favola's very ginger, Tim. He's really limping, favouring that heel now. I reckon we're wanting to rip him off.
Yeah, I think he might be coming off now, Quarters. He's had enough, and why not with 7 minutes to go? He's been terrific, and you're right, Luke. He's only kicked a couple of goals out of Carlton's 21, but his effort has been first-rate. The tackling pressure inside the Carlton forward 50 has been fantastic tonight.
Do you think Wiggins can kick